that they're going to chip everybody.
Okay.
Everything will be on that chip. And if they don't like what you're doing, they'll just, turn your chip off.
David, my question, the chip. Now, you and I, we've talked about this. When we spoke about it 6 months ago, you were, yeah, it could be, couldn't be, but now we're talking about it, maybe it could be. What's happening, in your opinion, on the chip?
Well, this has been around for quite some time, and the Book of Revelation, everybody's kind of got their take on it. And I like working with facts as much as possible, and it's a well-known fact amongst the truth community that Aaron Russo did a documentary called From Freedom to Fascism.
Through the Federal Reserve System, the bankers have pretty much taken control of our government. It doesn't matter Republican and Democrat anymore, because they're both the same. Neither one of them are talking about shutting down the Federal Reserve System or any of the big issues that face Americans, right? So I had a friend, Nick Rockefeller, okay, who was one of the Rockefeller family, and he, when I was running for governor in Nevada, he came to me, introduced himself to me through an attorney, and we became friends. We started talking about things, and the goals of the banking industry, not just the Federal Reserve System, but the private banks in Germany and England, all over Italy, all over the world, they all work together. They're all central banks.
And in that documentary talks about the way the bankers want it. And he said, and I'll try to quote it pretty close to this, that they're going to chip everybody.
Okay.
Everything will be on that chip. And if they don't like what you're doing, they'll just, turn your chip off.
When you say turn the chip off, do you mean like turn your life source off?
Yeah, well, there's two takes on that, and we'll go into that. But I think essentially he means, as a metaphor, turning it off where you can't buy or sell. Because without the chip, you have to, to buy or sell.
That's what Revelation talks about. Right. No man can buy or sell.
So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is given me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to.
The chip will be a biometric chip eventually, and will have properties that work not only electrically with the blogosphere and everything else that's out there in cyberspace, and at the same time have a genetic ability to basically make you healthy or not so healthy. Like turn it off, turns you off. So there is that aspect to it.
Wow.
Potentially.
Well, in Last Evangelist, that's exactly what's in the episode. And you haven't read the episode, have you? It's amazing, folks. Listen, I'm telling you. So basically, it's an insertion. This insertion is controlled by, I'm going to say a satellite, but it wouldn't be. It'd be something more advanced than that. However, it also gets into your DNA, into your system.
Right. So
they control you from the outside, but they also control you from the inside, and they control your insides.
Precisely.
And so they want a one world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips, and they control the chips, and they control people, and you become a slave, you become a serf to these people.
I look at everything. Look at everything in these discernment, and then if I'm not sure, and there's a lot of I'm not sures, I pray about it. Do I get it 100% right? No, I'm human. But honest to goodness, I would not rule that out at all. In fact, the thought about the biometric / electronic chip as one chip is you got, as you said, two sources. But once it's in you and becomes part of you, boy, that's the ultimate control, huh?
You just said something that blows my mind. When you said it's in you and becomes part of you, do you understand what you just said? Becomes part of you. It's almost think about this. As generations go by that has this insertion, this chip, they're so used to it, they think think that's a part of them.
Yeah.
That's another part of your anatomy, like your heart. Okay, so let me bring this into cash and cashless society. Will the chip play? First of all, do you think we're going to go cashless?
Of all the statements I can make, for the audience and as a technical advisor for the Last Evangelist, the one thing I'm the most certain about is we are moving to a cashless society on a global basis.
And they control the chips, and they control people, and you become a slave. You become a serf to these people. And so they want a one-world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped. And you become a slave. You become a serf to these people.
How fast do you see that going?
Well, as fast as possible for them. And they usually do, what I call trial balloons. They'll take a sector and they'll put it out there and see how much blowback they get, how much resistance they get. And based on how much resistance kind of determines the timeline and how they have to tweak it to make it happen. So India is the best test case. I mean, India is basically, very few are taxed, lots of cash only. So the first thing this Modi character did is we took out all the large bills, and it was a big uproar of going cashless in India.
Right.
And the next thing they did on top of that is they went in there, they're biometrically identifying everybody in India. And what we call in the financial world, there's a lot of what's are unbanked people. Unbanked people means people that do not have a bank account.
Right, they can't be tracked, they can't be traced.
Right, so the way to get around that is to identify them first, and then maybe they don't have to be in a bank, but they're in a system.
A system, wow. So what you're saying is India is a testing ground for the rest of the world.
Yeah, there's a huge population. It's not like we're testing a database of 10 for a million population. We're tasting 1.3 billion people
right.
out of a 7 billion population planet.
Yeah.
We're doing a big database, see how fast they can push everybody into it. Most people, especially the poor, because India is so poor, it's like,
right.
It's a great thing, because once I'm identified, I'm guaranteed to get my government benefit.
Right.
I'm guaranteed to get my bowl of rice. I'm guaranteed to get a free medical checkup once a year. And they want it.
Right, and because that was one thing, David, I was thinking, okay, fine, they could get guys like us in the system. We have a bank account, you have credit cards, but what about the poor immigrants, talking about America? You just said it. They're going to be the first they're going to target. They're going to be first to cave because the one world government is going to promise them all this stuff, and they're going to line up, in the soup kitchen to sign up for that cashless insertion, right?
Right.
That's how it's going to happen. Okay, so I want to really thank you for being a part of Last Evangelist. You are a great asset. You're going to be a major asset to the technical end of it to make sure we stay in line and give us your brilliant ideas. Thank you so much, David.
Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.